Major patch, and boy, there's a lot to talk about, so let's get started. One thing that is really exciting, you see at the top of this list, now NPCs are actually marked on the map, which is really cool. If you open your game and look at the map, you can see there are these little icons that show NPCs are here, like Finger Reader Crone, or the Hermit Merchant over here. It's like this little hood icon that indicates an NPC is there, like right here. We have the Finger Maiden Hiatus. But I don't know about you, but there were so many NPC quest lines in this game, an insane amount. It was so easy to miss out on some. In fact, I did miss out on several of them. So being able to see exactly where they are on the map instead of having to Google the wiki and try to look at the interactive map and figure out exactly where an NPC is, this is definitely way better. So I'm really, really excited about this change. Now, they did add a new NPC called Jar Baron. I'm not sure what that is. I wonder if it's going to be related to the pot people. I'm not for sure, like the giant pot guys, like Alexander. I have no idea, but that'll be interesting. We'll learn more about that soon enough. They also added new quest phases for Dialos, Nefeli Lu, Kenneth Height, Gatekeeper Gostok, so I can't wait to find out more about those. That's really exciting. It almost sounds like a significant update in the sense that they're adding more content, so I'm curious to see what they're going to be doing with those NPCs. Now you'll be able to summon some NPCs in some situations, and the number of patterns of objects players can imitate when using Mimic's Veil. So that Mimic's Veil, of course, is the item that allows you to transform into an object in the environment. So as someone who likes to do a lot of PvP myself, I'm curious to see what other objects you're going to be able to transform into using this thing. They added some night background music for open field area. That's cool. And there was a bug that prevented NPCs from taking damage in boss battles. They're fixing that. Prevented player from obtaining item after boss battle. They're fixing that. Fixed a bug that caused dialogue to be skipped when talking to NPCs and using custom key configurations. Interesting. Well, they're fixing that. Fixed a bug that caused the player to freeze when riding. I believe I had that bug. What happened in my case was I tried to get on my mount, and the mount rode off, and I did not ride off with it. I was frozen in midair, and then the game killed me automatically after like 20 or 30 seconds. I actually ended up losing quite a few runes because of that. I was pretty upset. Fixed a bug that caused Arcane to scale incorrectly for some weapons. Yes, I am carrying 3 of the weapons that are examples of weapons that did not scale before. They did not have a plus anything after their stats. It was a bug. But I'm going to go to the level up station, meet the requirements, and you're going to see that this is fixed. That you can see R Armament 1, R Armament 2, R Armament 3. Right at 27, they're all like larger numbers. And look, as I raise Arcane, you can see the numbers are increasing. They're not increasing by very much, but you got to remember, I didn't upgrade these weapons at all. They're all +0. I'm sure if they were a higher plus, they would actually get more damage per level I put in. But that's really cool. So it's good that they finally fixed that, because scaling on arcane weapons used to be just absolutely broken, but that appears to be fixed now, at least for these 3 weapons. In a situation where players cannot obtain more than 2 talisman pouches, added talisman pouch to Twin Maiden Husk shop lineup. That sounds pretty cool. So if for whatever reason you weren't able to get another talisman pouch, the last one, then you're able to get one from the shop. I'm not really sure what would cause that, but that appears to be fixed. And fixed a bug that prevents you from warping the sites of grace on the map at the end of the game. Pretty self-explanatory. Fixed a bug that prevented the player from moving to the next area after the battle with the fire giant. I didn't even know that existed, but that's fixed now. That's great. Fixed a weapon which caused the weapons to have incorrect scaling after strengthening. Yes! This was a big issue for me. So I used the Watchdog Heavy's Greatsword, and you'll notice it's +24. It's not +25. And no, that's not because I wanted to save my ancient Dragonstone. It's because previously, and I have a video of this on my channel, previously, if you upgraded this weapon to +25, you actually lost damage. It did less damage after going to +25, which obviously that was a significant bug. That should not be happening. But now, as you can see, it actually gains damage. So right now it's at 627 AR, but that's because I'm one-handing it. And then if I strengthen it, it will now be at 644 AR. And if I two-hand it, it'll be considerably more than that. So I'm really glad they fixed that. So you don't have to worry about the +25 bug anymore, it seems, at least for this weapon. I can confirm that they fixed it for this weapon. Now, fixed a bug which caused some weapons to not use stat scaling. That might have something to do with the arcane as well. I'm not sure what that's referring to, but that's a good fix. Fix hang-ups in certain occasion. Okay. Fixed a bug which incorrectly displays multiplayer area boundary when playing online. I do a lot of PvP, so I'm not really sure what they're referring to there. I haven't really noticed any issues with boundaries. Fixed a bug that allows the player to cast Erdtree's Great Shield weapon without absorbing an attack. Yes, that was a pretty massive bug. There used to be a bug where if you set yourself on fire, then you would be able to spam a particular projectile with the shield anymore. But it looks like they fixed that. Let's confirm that for ourselves. And I'm going to cast this spell where I set myself on fire. And normally, after setting yourself on fire, you'd be able to shoot a projectile with the shield. But Yeah, that's the button. It does not appear to work anymore. So they did, in fact, fix this. I'm very glad they did this. It was broken. It was clearly a bug, an exploit. You could do an absurd amount of damage and just spam it for 0 FP cost. The only cost is just casting this fire spell on yourself. And it was very annoying to see it in PvP. People just spam this at me. But I'm glad that's fixed. That's good, because it was absolutely a bug that needed to be fixed. Fixed a bug which causes fires, deadly sin, incantation have different effect. Now for that, they might be referring to the Eclipse Shotel. There was a bug very similar to the one with the shield where if you set yourself on fire and you use the Eclipse Shotel weapon art, it would do a death status AoE around you. I made a video on that too, showing that bug. And let me see, where's my Eclipse Shotel? I won't really be able to demonstrate this without going up to a player or some kind of human enemy. But that's probably what they fixed. Considering they fixed this issue with the Great Shield, they probably fixed the Eclipse Shotel issue as well, if I had to guess. Fixed a bug with the Ash of War, Determination, and Royal Knight's Resolve, where the damage buff will also apply to other weapons without that skill. Yes, if you weren't aware, if you buffed up, if you use Royal Knight's Resolve on one weapon, it would actually increase the damage of the other one. And you could even use this for magic. This was a trick that some people use that I only recently found out about. But you could use Royal Knight's Resolve on the left hand to give you the buff to where your next hit does 66% more damage or whatever the number is. And then your right hand weapon, even if it's a catalyst, something that casts spells, will actually benefit from that. Which was very, very interesting. So, you know, you could buff like this. You could buff like this, which will increase the damage of the next poke. And then your right hand weapon would benefit from that. But it seems that that's fixed. I don't see the Greatsword AR increasing at all. It only increased the heavy thrusting sword AR, so it's at 521 right now. But then if I do this, then it... Wait. Oh, that's strange. Maybe it's not reflected in the AR anymore? I don't see the number going up after buffing the rapier. That damage increase was just from two-handing it. Not quite sure what's going on there. Let me test that on the Greatsword directly. Let me try it on this weapon instead. Let's try Determination instead. Yeah. Let's try Determination. That's the weaker version. Let's try this. Okay, so the AR right now is 743. Determination, it's still 743. That's very strange. Powering up your next attack, yeah. So it doesn't seem to have a visual effect on the AR. I hope they didn't break this skill. Is it possible that it doesn't work anymore? I don't know. That seems like something that'll have to be tested. But what's supposed to happen, basically, is that buffing with the left-hand weapon is not going to increase the damage of the right-hand weapon. That's the bug that they're aiming for to be fixed. I hope they didn't end up breaking the buff altogether, but I suppose we'll have to see. All right, next. Adjusted the visual effect of Unseen Form spell. Sure. Let's take a look at that one real quick. So I'm not aware of what Unseen Form used to look like, but now it looks like this. So it makes you fairly transparent. I don't really see why they felt the need to change this. I never used this spell. I don't know what it looked like before, but this is what it looks like now. So that's interesting. Deleted the ragged armor set from the game, which was mistakenly obtainable in the previous patch. My understanding is that armor set actually never existed in the first place. It was just in the files. So don't think that like you had some kind of armor set that now it's going to disappear. From what I've read, that armor set never existed in the first place. I don't have it. Fixed a bug that caused some hostile NPCs to drop Feral Calling Finger's Remedy. Alright, so they don't drop that item. The Feral Calling Finger Remedy is, of course, this one. Yeah, so they don't drop that item anymore. Huh, strange. Fixed a bug that caused incorrect sound effect to play in some situations. Self-explanatory. Fixed a bug that caused visual animation hitboxes to not be displayed correctly on some maps. Okay. Fixed bugs which cause incorrect visual and behavior for some enemies. So, fixing some AI stuff, okay. Fixed a bug that caused incorrect stat parameter for some armor. I wish they said which armors that was. So some armors had wrong stat parameters. Some of them were just wrong. They were incorrect. So I wish they said which ones they changed. Unfortunately, I'm not going to go through... I don't like have the numbers for every armor set to be able to tell which ones changed and which ones didn't. Yeah, I don't know. I mostly use Confessor's armor. I like that one a lot. So I hope they didn't nerf that one. Text fixes, other performance improvement, and bug fixes. Pretty self-explanatory. Increase the drop rate of smithing stone for some enemies. That's great. When I played the game, one of my complaints was that I felt like I was stuck with Roger's rapier because it was the only thing above +1 that I had, and that thing is +8, and you get it pretty early on. It's like, wow, I don't really feel a need to use anything else. This rapier is already +8. But yeah, I just really struggled to find smithing stones. But of course, the game was new. People didn't really know where anything was. Later on, I got the ball bearings, and I mean, now I can go to the shop and I can buy whatever the heck I want. But take a look at that. Speaking of the shop, added smithing stone to some early game shop lineup. That's really cool. So now you'll be able to get smithing stones earlier. I'm curious how exactly that's going to be handled, but I was really wishing I had access to upgrade materials earlier, because honestly, the early game is rough. The early game is really, really rough. I felt weak in the early game, but having some upgrade materials would definitely help. Increase shield's effectiveness, pretty self-explanatory. Increase the damage for all offensive crock pot items. That's, if I'm not mistaken, is like these. Fire pots, giant flames fire pot, magic pot, stuff like that. Those kinds of pots. I actually have never crafted a single one, so I can't really compare. I don't know how good they are now, but apparently they're better. Increase the damage for the following items. Spark, aromatic, poison, spray mist. I think that's another crafting thing. Spark, aromatic, poison. Ah, there it is. Spark, aromatic. Use FP to scatter sparks in a wide area. Huh. Poison, spray mist. FP to release poison mist from the mouth. Ugh. Well, apparently those are stronger now. Increase the effect duration for uplifting aromatic and iron jar aromatic. So those are by the perfumes again. Where was that? Uplifting. Boosts ally attack power. Reduces incoming damage once. And what was the other one? Iron jar. I don't actually have iron jar. Interesting. I don't have that recipe. But those are buffed. I've never made a single one of those. Maybe I should. They seem pretty neat. Increase HP healing for Torrent when using Royal Raisin, Sweet Raisin, Frozen Raisin. I love how they're buffing these things that like I don't use at all. That's probably why they're buffing them, because probably a lot of people don't use I don't know about you, but I didn't really use crafting very much. Reduced FP consumption. Increase the damage of the following sorceries. Glintstone, Comet Shard, Comet, and Night Comet. Now that's something I would really, really like to test out. Alright, so they also reduce the FP consumption to increase the damage of Glintstone, Comet Shard, Comet, and Night Comet. Unfortunately, I do not have the numbers for how much damage these things did originally to compare, but I can show you how much they do now. So I will not be charging up these spells. So Glintstone, Comet Shard, Comet, Night Comet. So like 1800, 2100, 1800 roughly. Okay. And then what else? Increase the damage of the following. Oh yeah, and reduced FP consumption for those as well. Increase the damage of the following sorceries: Gravity Well, Collapsing Stars, and Crystal Barrage. Crystal Barrage. Not too bad. But for how slow the spell is, I don't know, man. I'd be better off doing a Carrion Slice. Gravity Well. Collapsing Stars. Okay, that's better. So it's 1,000 as opposed to 1,800 on the same foot. Founding Rain of Stars. I don't have any items that reduce consumption FP, but this staff does make spells cost more FP. It's the only one I have fully upgraded right now for damage testing. And then Stars of Ruin. Wait, they made that one cheaper? You gotta be kidding me. That's like the... Everybody uses that in PvP. Don't make that cheaper, dude. Oh, no. Great Blade Phalanx. Cheaper. Magic Downpour. Cheaper. Loretta's Great Bow. Cheaper. Loretta's Mastery. Cheaper. Carrying Greatsword is also cheaper. Carrying Piercer is also cheaper. Shard Spiral is also cheaper. Now, it says that the projectile speed and range of Great Glintstone Shard has been buffed. That's interesting. I want to compare that to the speed of Swift Glintstone Shard. No, that's slower in the range. Man, if this is what the range is now, what the heck was it before? Yeah, Swift is still way faster. Makes sense, it is the Swift one. Hoarfrost Stomp has its damage reduced and its cast time increased. I can't really notice the cast increase. Maybe it's because I'm using Radagon's icon? No, it's for spells though. Yeah, that's the same. Maybe it's slightly slower. It doesn't feel that much slower. Yeah, I think you couldn't spam it this much. Yeah, it is a little bit slower, but it's not like massively slower, but a little bit slower. Speedrunners are probably going to suffer a bit because of this. And the damage has been reduced. Okay. Increased Ash of War Bloody Slashes self-inflict damage while slightly lowering the damage and increasing the cast time. Again, I don't really notice that much of a cast time increase, but I am noticing a damage increase. I'm definitely taking more damage. Max HP is 1319. If I cast it once... 1204, so it's doing 115 damage. Didn't it used to do like 60 or 80 damage? One of the two. This is definitely an increase, a considerable increase actually. So you will gradually kill yourself if you're not careful. Decreased weapon skill, Sword of Night and Flames damage. So that means this is going to do less damage, and this is going to do less damage. Increased FP consumption and lower duration of Ash of War Barricade Shield. Barricade Shield is the buff that makes it harder for enemies to break your guard while your shield is buffed. It doesn't really seem to consume that much more FP. I don't remember how much it costed before, but it still seems pretty cheap. As for the duration, it seems like it just ended. Seems to last about 8 seconds. 8 or so seconds, that's what it feels like. Changed FP consumption timing of Ash of War Prelate's Charge. Prelate's Charge is for this hammer. I'm not sure what they mean by changed FP consumption timing. Maybe it didn't just tick like the way it does now, but that's the way it works now. Decrease the damage of Spirit Summon when using the item. Mimic Tear Hash and change this spirit's behavior pattern. Oh boy, the community's gonna love this one. Well, I don't really know exactly what they did, but let's try to find out. This is a sorcerer. And I gave him the Comet spell. Let's see what he does to these boys. Attack! Well, I mean, okay. Follow me. Sir, follow me. There's more. Can you, like, not slow walk? Here, I'll get their attention. Blow your horn. Where's the horn guy? Yeah, do it. So how is your behavior different? Are you trying to whack them with the staff? Well, I mean... I didn't really use Mimic Tear Ashes in my playthrough. I upgraded it for a video and basically never used it, so I don't really have much to compare it to. But does the mage normally just sit there and just take forever to actually cast the spell? Well, maybe I should have given him a faster one. Oh, okay. He just needed a breather. I mean, I don't really see much different. I get this is like the level 1 zone, but... I mean, he would have the same behavior in a boss fight, right? I love how he actually tries to smack them with the scepter. Do they normally do that? Yeah, I don't know. They made it sound like they nerfed this guy, but he still seems pretty strong. Seems pretty strong to me. Other enemy and weapon balance changes. I don't really like that they lumped them in a big category. I would like to know the specifics, but okay, cool. And the version number changes. All right, there you go. So that's the update. Let me know what change you're most excited about. Personally, nothing for me, really. Well, actually, no. I like the plus 25 thing. I was really upset that for my greatsword build, I had to sit at plus 24. So it's nice to be able to go to plus 25. But I've already made other builds after that one for like sorcery and intelligence that I think are more fun. So I wasn't really focusing on the greatsword build that much. But still, that was a pretty serious bug. I'm glad that's fixed. And since they fixed the arcane scaling, I might try to make an arcane build and see what I can do with that. So that's pretty cool. Other than that, I don't know. Not a whole lot excites me. The sorcery stuff, I don't really think it's going to change how I run my sorcery PvP build. It seems like I will keep most things mostly the same. I just wish they didn't make that 12 homing projectile spell cheaper to cast because it was already really strong. But anyways, I hope you found this helpful. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe. It helps out a lot. Plenty more Elden Ring videos are coming, and I'll see you later.